If someone acts strangely after a crime, does that make them guilty? Let's talk about the idea that sometimes people look guilty who are not guilty. We cannot convict them without evidence, without proof beyond a reasonable doubt. Just because someone acts strangely doesn't tell the full story. Maybe the person is a nervous person. Maybe the person is not a social person. Maybe the person is genuinely afraid that they are going to be considered a suspect, right? So ultimately, we have to look at the facts. Did the person have interaction with the victim? Did the person have a motive that would cause them to harm this person? Additionally, we also have to realize that just because things look like they might add up doesn't mean they necessarily add up. There needs to be a thorough investigation. There needs to be a lot more information than this person looks and acts guilty, so they must be guilty. And ultimately, legal principles are what is extremely important. Everyone has a right against self-incrimination, so that person needs to be read Miranda rights. Additionally, there are due process rights in the criminal trial process to have people that are similar to them on the jury. If not, that could potentially be a Batson challenge, which could potentially sideline the case for a little bit or get it overturned if it were to be a guilty verdict. Public misconceptions believe that oftentimes that trials should be quicker, trials should be faster, trials should move in a certain way, and that someone wouldn't be on trial unless they were guilty. Now that is a huge misconception because there are people who are not guilty that are in a criminal trial because they have been accused and they have their right to a fair trial. Not because it means that they're guilty, not that it means that they're not guilty. It is up for the jurors to decide what the evidence points to. And that is how our system works. Everyone is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. And there are going to be questions remaining because ultimately some facts won't come out, or some things that certain people are interested in that others might not be aren't going to fully come out. But ultimately the jury has to take what the evidence shows and go forward with that to reach their verdict. And it generally has to be, depending on the number of jurors, to be a unanimous verdict. And ultimately, we need to have compassion for people when we don't fully understand their circumstances. We don't fully know who they are. We don't know what they're going through. We just need to show compassion. Justice deserves careful thinking, not quick conclusions. Because when you do something hastily, you often miss a lot of things. You often miss maybe the suspect who's actually much more viable than the person who's acting awkward, because that person always acts awkward. That is their personality. That is who they are. Doesn't necessarily make them guilty. They might put themselves in compromising positions that make them look bad. That's possible too. People do that because they're human. So thank you for tuning in to Grace and Gavel, where truth meets compassion. My name is Buffy. I'm an almost 18-year criminal defense attorney. And I just want to say, if you got value from this, please feel free to like and subscribe. I'd greatly appreciate it. And I hope you have a great rest of your day.